And welcome back to Daily Wrap. Before we get to Carl Higbie, Noah, we want to let you finish your answer from before. I know we ran out of time. Let Rick recouch the question.
What I was asking, and it is important. I'm glad we're going back to it. You know, you've got the murders that took place in South Carolina by a white person who was acting out on racist instincts. Right. Now you've got a situation that happened today where a black man acted out on racial instincts. Are we treating them both the same?
No, we're not. And there's some very good reasons for that, and they're not especially politically correct. I'm going to speak rather frankly because this is a tense issue. In these sort of situations, we flail impotently for some sort of agency, for some sort of control. We couldn't ever prevent another shooting by taking down the Confederate flag, and yet that's what we wanted to do. We had to do something. So that's what we did. And it's along the same line of, you know, we have to enact some new gun control laws. Something. It doesn't matter if it'll prevent the next future. It provides us with a sense of agency. Some of that was productive. Getting Confederate flags off of state lands was a good thing. Taking down the TV Land episodes of Dukes of Hazzard, erasing the top of the car, erasing the names of Thomas Jefferson and Andrew Jackson from state dinners is just silly. It's inappropriate. It's ineffectual. What we saw there is an easier confrontation with an enemy that's largely been slain. White nationalism, racist institutionalism has been defeated. It took many decades. It took a lot of lives. It took a lot of people's efforts. But over the course of 40 years, 50 years of the 20th century, we defeated institutional racism in government and in civic institutions. What we're seeing here is something that's a lot more difficult to comprehend and difficult to understand. A little bit more grievances from African Americans are beginning to show themselves in things like the Black Lives Matter movement, which is very interested in confrontation. Some of their grievances are legitimate, some of them are not. And what we're seeing here is something that's very hard to wrap our hands around because it confronts an issue that we're all afraid to deal with, which is institutional racism and the lingering effects of it, some of which are, again, is legitimate and some of it really isn't. This is something that we don't want to touch, we don't want to address. So this is something that this event says confront this, and all of us want to avoid it. I think that's the wrong way to go about this. We do have to confront this on his terms.
It's like the old potluck times.
That was interesting.
Yeah, but completely and totally legitimate and accurate.
It is exactly as you described it. It's that kind of an issue, and nobody does really want to deal with it.
Because the stakes are much higher.
They are. You're right.
But can I say one thing?
Yeah.
I honestly, from the bottom of my heart, was raised never to have a racial bone in my body. I don't even recognize the color of skin. But I almost think that the hate crime law is almost as ridiculous as racism itself. I mean, it's ridiculous that we even as human beings have to go down this road. And when you have this kind of tension that has spread over this past year so bad because of these different groups, now you have mental ill people that are just clinging to this stuff. And what you're going to see is you're going to see it on both sides. You're going to see blacks who now have this just hate-filled gut that they want to go out and they're going to act on it. You're going to have whites like this guy down in South Carolina for no other reason but the fact that they have mental health and now they have an agenda given to them.
Nothing new, though, is it?
No.
We've seen it before.
That's right.
No, but it needs to be addressed in very frank terms, and we're allergic to talking about this stuff in a sense that would actually provide clarity. We talk around the issue.
Oh, if you're talking about a white or a black guy shooting a white guy, yeah. Well, it's but the other way around, it's you know, they don't even.
Fortunately, we do have to move on.
So,
yeah. Hillary Clinton wasted no time and used today's tragic shooting to call for stricter gun control. As we mentioned in the previous segment, many prominent Democrats jumped at the opportunity to use the murders to promote their own agendas on the topic.
I was so just stricken to think that these two young people doing the work that you guys do every single day would be murdered on live television. And I will extend my condolences and sympathies to their families and to their co-workers and pray for the woman who, last I checked, was still in critical condition. But I will also reiterate, we have got to do something about gun violence in America.
Deep stuff. While Democrats push for stricter gun control, polls show that Americans' attitude towards firearms are actually getting more favorable. According to Gallup, in 1990, 78% of Americans called for stricter gun control. Last year, just 47% called for stricter gun control. That's a 31-point swing over the course of only 24 years. So, why do Democrats continue to wage this war on guns? Very interesting topic. Your thought? You're a Democrat.
Look, I think it's a mistake to divide this up between Democrats and Republicans. I actually know a lot of Republicans who are strong anti-gun people, and I know a lot of Republicans who are the same, you know, and I meant Democrats who support guns. It's not about that. It's about the frustration people feel when they keep seeing things like this happen and don't know a better way to try and do something to stop it.
And incompetent solutions.
Maybe.
Maybe. All right, well, we want to know what you think about politicians using the strategy to promote the gun control conversation. Let us know at newsmaxtv.com/comments and let us know. Up next, Carl Higbie, more on this topic. Stay tuned.